Glad to see everybody here today. Appreciate everybody being here. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, call the roll.
Master Combs? Here. Master Barger?
Here.
Master Tudor? Here. Master Botkin?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Roger Baker up from Madison Baptist Church to lead us in a word of prayer. Appreciate you being here.
Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for Thy love to us. We thank Thee for sending Thy only begotten Son into this world, to die on the cross for us, shed His blood for us, for the remission of our sins, to come forth from the tomb to give us an assurance of like resurrection as we trust in Him. I thank Thee for this day. And Lord, I pray and thank Thee for these men here. And thank Thee, Lord, for them as they serve Thee by serving us. I pray Thou be with them today. Be with them in their deliberations and in their decisions. I thank Thee, Lord, that Thou art the God who's the embodiment of wisdom. And I pray that they would know that wisdom today, Lord. And I pray that the decisions they make will be ones, Lord, that would render good to the people and bring glory to Thy precious name. We praise for what Thou hast accomplished now. In Thy name I do pray, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Would you rise, face their flag?
Thank you.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Guys, y'all had a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting?
And this is, we'll bring up, this is a slew of them that we've been meeting.
Yep.
May 15th, May 9th, and April 28th are the minutes that.
We got a correction in there.
Kenny, on the last, I guess the 17th meeting,
May 15th?
May 15th, on the resolution 1716, it's stating that Magistrate Combs and myself voted no on the blood drive resolution. We voted yes on that one.
Okay, that's not in the minutes of the 15th. Okay, that's the minutes of May 9th. So the correction is you guys see here where it's marked no, you guys voted yea.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Okay. We'll get those correct.
You'll approve all three at one time?
Yep, I think so.
So moved.
I'll second that
With the approved changes.
with the corrections. Yes.
With the corrections. So there's no discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes,
Thank you, John.
we do that sometimes, just see if y'all are reading those, you know?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah,
Check and make sure we're reading the minutes there.
yep. Next on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Good morning, Glenna.
Good morning. You'll find in your Dropbox, I dropped it in yesterday afternoon. It was the financial report that goes through 4/30/2017. Our total fund budget is $8,181,528.75. As of the end of April 30th, our general revenues are at 81.8%. Our expenditures are at 47.9%. Our road fund revenues are at 68.1%, and our expenditures are at 65.2%. Our jail fund revenues are at 85.8%. Our expenditures are 82.5%. Our CSEP fund revenues are 11.6%. Our expenditures are at 10.2%. And 911, our revenues are at 105%, and our expenditures are at 67%.
How do you come up with 105%?
They had such a surplus from prior year carryover. We'd only budgeted like $225,000. They had a carryover of $488,000. So it put it at like 200%. So when you count in the total percentages, even though that's not it's a revenue, but it's what you budget for surplus, they were way over on their surplus last year.
I commend you for that part.
Yes. Does anybody have any questions?
Move to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
We don't vote on treasurer's
We
report.
don't. That's right.
No. No, but thanks for willingness to jump in there. Yeah.
John figured that.
Yeah, yeah, you got someplace to be? You wanna roll right through it. Thanks, Glenn, appreciate it. First order of business today, I would like to ask the court's permission to amend the agenda. We've got a fire department personnel, and also we need to go into executive session over a personnel matter. So I need a motion and a second to amend the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Biken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Is Rachel, let's just jump on into your fire department personnel. Do you have,
Marvin on here?
or Marvin?
Yeah, it's Marvin.
Okay.
Well, we're coming to you this morning with two things. The first being a promotion for lieutenant. We're going to recommend Herb Lovett. He's presently employed with the Madison County Fire Department, and we're recommending him to fill the position of lieutenant. And the second order of business
Let's
is...
do that one first, Mark.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
To go from a 3 to lieutenant or 4.
He's a 3 right now.
Okay.
It would be same stipulation as before. He'd have 1 year to get his instructor,
Okay.
because that's
So moved.
Second.
No discussion, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Biken?
yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Second thing we need to amend.
Yeah, this second one is the reason we amended the agenda. Yeah. Go ahead. Thanks.
We had one of our new hires contact us and asked to move his start date. We want to make his start date June 16th now, which actually works out better for us. He's not starting in the middle of a pay period. He's starting at the first of the pay period.
Yeah, and this is really a correction, because when we voted on it in our job form, it said his start date of, I think, June
First one.
the 6th, maybe.
Fifth.
5th, June 5th. And so obviously you can't do that, and so we need just to make that.
Amendment.
That,
His
motion
name is
second.
Lincoln Arnold.
I'll make it.
Lincoln Arnold.
Make it motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Biken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda is a proclamation. It's EMS week, and Carlos, do you want to address the court today? As you're coming up, some of your staff, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services provide important out-of-hospital care. And whereas the emergency medical services systems consist of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, emergency nurses, physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 21st through the 27th, 2017 as Emergency Medical Services Week, with the theme, EMS Strong, Always in Service. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate you being here.
We appreciate you doing that proclamation. As you know, EMS is 24/7, 365. You can't call expecting an ambulance and get put on hold. at the dispatch center or somebody not show up. So it is a absolute vital service. We certainly can't do what we do without all our partners, all the other first responders, certainly 911 dispatch, which I forgot to mention the last time we did this proclamation. They are very strong in that. They get the call. If they don't get the call to the first responders, the system's broken. They do a great job. We respond to almost 17,000 calls per year. That's a huge number. But you know you probably can't go out in the city of Richmond, Berea, anywhere in Madison County without passing an ambulance going somewhere. So we're very, very busy. I'd like to thank all the staff. We got about a staff of 78 employees. 52 of those are full-time, 26 are part-time. 56 of those are paramedics. Assistant Director Ron Jackson is with us today. Training Officer Debbie Berry. I like to have some of the crews here, but they're all making runs.
Yeah.
So they get very little downtime. I'd like to thank our board members, Randy Rigsby, who's the chairman, Sunday Park, who's a Berea appointee, George Robbins, a Richmond appointee, Dr. Jill Cornelison, Madison County appointee, Dr. Glenn Burkett, Madison County appointee. We couldn't do the job that we do without the oversight from those individuals. So they have an awesome board to work for. So we're blessed as an organization that to be a part of this community and do the things that we do. I won't use a lot of your time, but two things I do want to mention. Our new station in Berea is open. We're having an open house down there today from 12 noon to 2 p.m. 354 Rash Road. Hope everybody can come by. We'll have some refreshments. We'll do just a few words, and everybody can tour the building, talk, and look at everything. We'll answer any questions anybody has, but I'm hoping some of the folks will see that, some of the citizens, and stop by to see us. Of course, they can stop by anytime to look at our stations. Somebody's not always there, but if they are, we'll be glad to show them an ambulance. They want to bring their children by, tour the station. We want to be there for them. They've been there for us. And the third thing I want to mention is our old station at 400 Highway 1016. We are surplusing it, and we just put the ads will be in the Richmond Register and the Berea Citizen. We put them on Facebook page and on our web page. We're taking sealed bids for that property with a minimum bid of $195,000. It'll make somebody a really nice property and put some funds back into our ambulance budget.
That fund probably go back into the building fund?
Yes, sir.
Carlos, I just want to say I appreciate what you guys do in keeping us safe in the community. I mean, I see you out everywhere. You all have a professional attitude the way you go at business, and I appreciate that. Most of us were over there and got to tour the new facility there in Berea a couple months ago before it was completed. It's a beautiful building. I'm sure you're proud of it, and thank you for what you guys do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
As a board member that doesn't vote but just observe for the court, sitting on the ambulance board, I can assure everybody that it's about as talented and particular board that you have sitting there now. With the experience they have, there's never a vote or a discussion on anything that 2 or 3 questions isn't asked or give their professional advice on what needs to be done or not done. You all run a good ship.
Thank you.
Several years ago, Carlos, I got to take a ride in the back end of one of your ambulances, and I don't remember who showed up. And I'll just tell you, the only thing that I remember was that they were professional, and their expertise was right on the spot.
We love to hear
I
that.
certainly appreciate it.
One other thing I failed to mention, and I think the judge talked about it maybe at the last fiscal court meeting, we had a retiring board member, W.O. Bradley, served 35 years. Hopefully he's not watching right now, but we plan to present him with a little plaque in honor of those many years of public service for absolutely zero. He has been a huge part of this organization for the last 35 years. So I want to mention that as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Carlos, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to have to run to get ready for the open
Yeah,
house.
I understand.
Thank
There's
you all. Hope to see you
there's your
this afternoon.
proclamation. Appreciate you. Yep. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you, Carl.
See you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
Next is the inmate work program. It's our community service program, and Mina Mahanti's here out of the county attorney's office. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and as always, I really appreciate all the support that the fiscal court has given to not only my position, but what we do over at the county attorney's office. We really appreciate it. So as the court knows, the reduction in jail population really serves the county in several ways. Overcrowding at the jail is expensive. Basic costs alone are expensive. having it overcrowded causes a lot of fights and inmate concern, which leads to medical bills and places a lot of undue stress on the jail staff. And so what we've done is we've been working on kind of a multi-pronged approach to handling some of those situations. And the first line of attack is the community service work program. And what we've been doing is if people are currently being housed for non-payment of fines, we're able to convert those fines into community service. So it's a very select population that we're dealing with. They can't have any new charges or, and certain offenses just really aren't suitable to send out into the community. So the numbers I have for you today cover from July 1st till now, so about a 9.5 month period. In that span, we've had 55 people participate in the program with a savings of 308 days of jail. We've also worked on the inmate population. In several cases, we've been able to review individual cases to see if maybe someone's eligible for early release or what we call shock probation. And with those terms, we've been able to save 478 days from the county jail. And we also house some people in Casey County, so we've been working with the Public Defender's Office to review and see if any of those people that are being housed at the expense of our county in other jails, if any of them might be suitable for some release, and we've been able to save 30 days there. Again, that's over the 9.5 month period. So based on those numbers, we've already saved roughly $26,000. We've also been trying to think of other ways that we could work on the jail situation. Mr. Robbins and I met with the jailer, Doug, and one of his captains, Greg Johnson, and what my job now is every person that comes through the jail, I look at their citation. So that's every single person, no matter what county they're from. I review their citation to see if there's anywhere else we can kind of come up with some savings, to see if there's people who might be suitable for my work program. No, again, this we just started a few weeks ago, and so we're seeing that there are people that are being housed for non-payment of fine that we weren't catching before. And the reason is, in order to save costs over the long run, people who are brought in on non-payment of fine, their fines were automatically being converted to jail time, so they never appeared on a docket or came to court. So we weren't catching those people. So now that I'm looking at every citation, I feel like we'll see more people that we can convert more quickly because we're going to find them. So the jail has so many different avenues that people are coming in. So I feel like now that we're seeing every single person that comes in, we can find other ways to save the county money. One of the other things that I do personally is I handle all the jail dockets. So I do see first line every person that comes into jail that hasn't been released on bond. As part of my job, I review each one of those inmates to see if there's anyone we can release back into the community under conditions that keep everyone safe. So a lot of times there are family members who are there, so I can talk to the family members and see what kind of safeguards we can put in place to let someone out. Sometimes if there's drug treatment issues, the family can work on getting them residential drug treatment, and I'll let people out if they're going straight to treatment. A lot of times there's certain situations where we might be able to use home incarceration and that's something that the inmates pay for themselves. And so we can release them from jail if they go straight to the home incarceration program. So, you know, I try to do as much as I can fiscally to try and save the county money, but I'm here for any questions you've got about any of those things that I mentioned.
How many do we have on home incarceration right off your head, top?
We don't use it a lot. So for pre-release, this is before they're convicted of anything, I would say maybe 5 to 10 a month. We don't use it a lot because, again, it's a third-party home incarceration program, so not everyone can afford it. So if it was, now on the other end, when after conviction, we are using it more, like in, some DUI cases, if somebody has, severe medical problems and it's not really suitable for them to go to jail, we'll use it in that end. But the pre-release, we don't use it as much. And also, just from, there's different reasons for that. Part of it is also, sometimes it's not appropriate on the conviction end because they're getting jail credit day for day. So sometimes you lose your hammer of punishment if they're getting sick. So it's really a.
Is this program similar to the one that Clark County runs?
No, I believe Clark County runs theirs through their fiscal court. The one that we use, because we don't have one established here, is through a third-party private company. So the inmates are paying for it directly to
I know they have a lot involved in Clark County.
They do.
County Attorney over, I mean, he hustles. I'm not saying Mark doesn't, I'm just saying. I
It's
know
a different program,
I know,
yes.
I understand.
It's not one we've really approved here yet. I think it's something that could be explored.
Well, I mean, I guess at one time before this court was here, we had a home incarceration program.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, we
was,
did.
I guess, was canceled or whatever.
Well,
It did work.
personnel reasons.
Yeah, but you know, we've had discussions, when I first came into office, we got circuit, or Commonwealth Attorney and Mark, I think Doug, you were in on that, maybe some of the judges. We actually all had to sit down and say, hey, do we need to open this back up for, have a program? And yeah, there was some yays and nays, so, you know, it wasn't really something that they felt like needed to be done, I guess, at the time. So, not everybody was in agreement to it, so.
So can I make sure I heard that right?
Yes.
You said that they pay to a third party
They do,
home
Yes.
incarceration?
yes.
That's fantastic. Can we sign up for that, Judge?
Do we get, we
Well,
just get
there's-
a portion of it, correct?
I don't believe we get any of the home
So
incarceration.
you'd have to collect it to get it.
Yeah,
It's a completely private program.
It's a private program, and so what I understand about our home incarceration program is that you did charge so much a day for them to be, but it's like everything else that we're finding out. If they don't have the money to pay, they don't have to pay. And so,
There's a sliding scale involved.
yeah.
But
But-
the numbers that we're putting in, and trying to get back up, like I told you, I did the jail docket. Today's jail docket alone is 46 people. And that's just a Tuesday, you know, every week, we're doing 3 jail dockets, and that's just my numbers today. I'll go do that after court today.
Well, the information is very helpful, thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Not me.
Mina, thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
here. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna run off. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
thank you. Next on the agenda is a second reading of ordinance 1704. This is the budget amendment to the jail fund. We had our first reading last court, and basically this is just extra revenues that we didn't know that we were gonna get in the budget, and so we're budget amending them in. So I need a motion and a second for the second reading of ordinance 1704 jail fund.
I'd make that motion, but Judge, when you say extra income coming in, the breakdown like, the jailer gave me this morning, we ain't gonna get a lot of that money.
Well, this here on this is actually fees we've collected.
You looking at this?
No, it's
Oh,
actually
No.
a budget amendment. We haven't gotten to this yet.
Oh, well,
This is,
I withdraw my question.
this is actually funds we've gotten in. Like with the surplus from prior year, there was actually more in surplus left over than what we had budgeted.
We'd only budgeted for 50,000 at the end of the year. We had
I think you
99,000
told us
sitting in the
that
bank.
last
Yeah.
meeting.
Mm-hmm. Then work release, local corrections assistance, and DUI fees. So these are actually fees we've actually got. These aren't make-believe fees.
It's tricky.
Yeah. So I need
Your motion still
you-
stands.
Your motion still good, Larry?
Well, sure.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, for no more
Back up in the
discussion,
middle of
call
the
the
game.
roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bachman.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Parker,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is second reading of ordinance 1705. This is budget amendments to the road fund. These were actually increased revenues that we also received in the road fund. road federal reimbursement, state grants, county road aid, and reserve for transfer. No, not reserve for transfer.
It all goes into reserve.
It all goes in there, yeah.
Mine are backwards in what we had on
Yeah, the road and the jail,
They're
and the
flipped, but
docket,
it's,
they're in the
information
agenda, it's listed in reverse. So if you're looking for the jail, you had to punch in the road.
Oh, okay,
on-
yeah,
on-
yeah.
We figured it out, didn't we, Tom?
Yes.
You're all slick, huh?
I had to figure out John make fun of him.
So do I have a motion and a second for second reading of ordinance 1705, road fund?
So moved.
Second.
No discussion, call the roll.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Guys, next on the agenda is the 2017, thanks Glenn, it's 2017-18 road salt bids. We're actually not gonna talk about that today. We're actually gonna have a special call meeting for Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 9:30 to review the salt bids.
That comes through CAECO, though. Why do we have to bid?
Regulation.
It's over the 20,000, Judge.
No, so our ordinance says that we shall advertise locally in our paper. And so CAECO advertised, and their actual law says May. And so to make sure that we follow the law, we put an ad in the paper to advertise, and then we'll look at those bids on Tuesday for court. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Next on the agenda is Sheriff's 2016 tax settlement. Tommy? I didn't know I had to invite you to the podium. It's my pleasure to have you here today.
My pleasure to be here. Each of you got copies of the sheriff's settlement, should be in your Dropbox. We collected $48 million this year. And then this, what we're presenting here today is just what an outside auditor does for a settlement, and everything is pending state audit. So as you can see at the bottom lines, our staff did a very good job on collection. Had one little boo-boo on the I think it was the ambulance, and that was because it was because of the grand campus. We had to put everything in by hand, and we swapped around some commissions a little bit there. So, but it's a good settlement. What you see is main part is from rounding, from computer. So we're very proud of what we did, and we try to be good stewards of the county's money. Any questions?
Well, it looks like you got it down to pennies on every one of them.
Well, there again, it's rounding. So when you're dealing with 3 and 4 spaces, that's what happens.
Good job.
Any other questions?
Should I commend you or Mike?
Give the sheriff all the credit.
Okay. I'll tell him in the back room. Good job, Tom. Appreciate it.
Good job,
Thanks
guys.
for
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So any other questions? And I have a copy of the order here that I'll present to the judge and get it signed, and then that will release us for the quietus, it's called. We have to have a quietus for the upcoming year. If we don't get a quietus, then we cannot by law collect taxes. This starts the process.
All right, you want me to sign that now?
All right, yes, sir.
Oh, this is for, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, yeah. Do I have a motion and a second to
So moved.
accept the 2016 tax settlement of Sheriff's Department?
I'll second that.
No discussion, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, guys. Yep, that's good. Just
Thank
leave it in
Tom.
there, Frank said, we good. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda is first reading of ordinance 1706, Madison County Fiscal Court 2017-18 budget. Glenna, before we get started, there were some questions when we had our work session that I want to kind of review. I've looked into some of these things. One of the recommendations that I'm going to have in the budget that's not in there right now is to move the part-time in the jail fund to 60,000. And really, the main reason is just trying to save everywhere we can. There was a situation that Doug's having to deal with since Friday. Well, you've kind of been dealing with this issue for a while, just putting Band-Aids on it, but the cooler and the freezer is pretty much gone.
The freezer's down, it's done.
The freezer's done, and so just trying to save wherever we can for now for some of those expenditures, especially that one. It's going to be fairly expensive. I think Doug right now is working on bids, so I'm going to recommend in this budget, Glenna, for this first reading, that we make that change in that line item of part-time from 90,000 to 60,000. The other thing that was questioned was the report from Foothills on transit program. I think Foothills is coming to our next court meeting to give us a update on the transit program that we support. The community service program, obviously we discussed that with Mina today. I was asked to pull the lease out for the Kirksville Community Center. And actually that lease, when I read it, it was amended in 2007. That was established in 2002. And in that agreement, we pay them a monthly fee, I think of $660 a month. And that lease is good for 3 years, but it has actually 10 renewals, which is basically means it's for 30 years on the Kirksville Community Center. So if anybody would like a copy of that, be more than glad to make a copy for you. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Then there was also an ask about the $25,000 that we give to support the airport. And I actually brought Larry up to speed on it the other day, but just want to say it out loud to the court. That $25,000 is still, still need to give that to the airport. The $130 that we've given them for their expansion is separate from the $25. We didn't give them $130 to not have to give them the $25. When Dr. Walker was here that day and she addressed the court, she was saying that once the expansion is done, it's going to allow them to increase their revenues, and then at that point, they felt like that the $25,000 would possibly go away once they got the expansion done.
They'd be more self-supporting.
Right, because they've increased their revenues with.
Well, I just misunderstood it, but you corrected it, and that is just a question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the question. So
I hate to back up. Doug, how much are we looking at for a new cooler over at the jail?
I don't know yet. We're just some estimates. Again, I don't have any idea, but we got three people giving us estimates right now.
Are you using refrigerated trucks right now?
Yeah, we got one sitting back in the back. Running, keeping us cool. Again, I don't know the cost of that yet. Once the bids come in, of course, let everybody know.
Do we have to wait and receive bids and vote on it before you can go ahead and start on?
Well, we gotta see if it's over the 20,000. If it is, then we have to put it in the paper to advertise it. We'll go that round, but we're gonna see, again, if that's not, then I'll get with everybody and we'll see what might be the best.
Okay, we'll get you back up and running as quick as possible.
We have to.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions on those comments I just made?
Appreciate it being correct.
Real quick, just the changes that were made in between the draft that you were given and the first reading. If you look at the worksheets that were given behind you, they're all the changes were highlighted in yellow, which include, I will go over them real quick. On the first page of the, and this is in the worksheet, on the first page of the general fund revenues, we decreased the firefighters incentive pay down. I thought it was for 26, and we found out we were only gonna have 25 full-time, so I corrected that. On the second page of the revenues, the family court basement rent, I added that in for $26,719. On page 4 of the expenditures for the general fund, I separated out the magistrate salaries into 4 different line items as requested.
Thank you.
And on page 7,
Which one of these weak there?
on page 7 of the general fund, the fire department staff and firefighters' incentive pay was decreased down to 25 employees instead of the 26. On page 11 of the general fund, the reserve for transfer was increased from the changes made. If you go on to the road fund, on the first page of the revenues, the state rural secondary flex funding, we added 58,000 in. That's gonna be carried over from this year's flex funding to next year's. So that had to be added into the revenues. It also had to be added into the expenditures lower on that page to asphalt flex funding. We also, I corrected the line item that was special projects to rename it as asphalt patching and moved it to the correct line item. And there was no changes in the jail,
Except the one that.
except the one that we're getting ready to make, but there wasn't any changes between the draft and the first reading. And there wasn't any in CSEP. On the first page of the 911, the reserve for transfer was lowered by 10,000. And if you look at the second page, their health insurance was increased by 10,000, and that was just a swap out. I had not, the 911 budget was done way earlier before we got our health insurance quotes in, so I had to redo that number to include the new health insurance numbers. That was the only changes made between the draft and the first reading.
Guys, do we have any questions about the first reading of the 17-18 budget?
As I look on here, you got Kirksville Park repairs, 500, is that just a one-time? It's not 500 a month, is it?
No,
No,
that's just for
yeah,
the
it's
year.
For the year, and
It's
then
just in case those
under
are.
Kirksville Park, special events is 0.
Uh-huh.
And then you go down to Kirksville Park Electric, 750. Where is that, what you just said we was giving them?
That's under lease payments. in the-
It's not here.
No, it's not under county parks, it's under lease payments and it's a
Okay.
015025 number.
Yeah, all those things there are just like just repair line items. So like if let's just say a water line pipe busts out there, then that $500 would be there to cover any kind of little expenditure. Yep. Yep. Yeah, if you go, I think it's 5100, isn't it? Is it 5100? 5103 maybe?
51 something. I just marked it.
Is that right, Glenn? 51
I don't think so. It should be in the 5025 number.
5025?
Yeah, I mean. Lease
Yeah,
payments,
lease payments
5025.
5331.
Yes, lease payments 23,000.
624.
That includes the big health tower lease that we have also. So there's 2 leases that we have that's.
What was that, 5 what?
What?
501?
5025331.
Okay.
It's on page 4. About a quarter of the way down.
That lease payments, is that on how many different,
That's on 2 leases.
Battlefield and
5025.
That's on-
You find it?
Yep,
That's on
yep,
Kirksville
yep.
and the Big Hill Tower,
the Big Hill Tower?
the cell tower.
Yep.
The one out on Big Hill Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. And it's, what's the lease on it again, Judge?
What?
The Big Hill Tower?
We
It's
pay about
from-
$1,300 a month.
Some 1,300 a month, yeah.
It's a little better. I think it's a little more than $1,300 a month.
A little over 16,000 a year.
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep. Do we have any other questions?
Well, I wanna make sure, Judge, that we, on jail salaries, I just wanna make sure I've got this straight. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 12 individuals that were above the, what the county raise was last time. That's gonna affect this number. So I just wanna make sure and I understand that all of those were classification. Were all of those classification changes? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we got 5, we got six were 10% increases.
Which one thing, Tom, do we realize, where we think, is what we're gonna do it on raises? We don't think that we should, actually vote on them until next court, after we have the second reading, because we need to approve the budget. And we're gonna have discussions on raises for not only, the jail, but also, for our staff.
Okay.
Now, one thing about the jail is that, what we'll do as a court is we will approve, really, we're not approving whether Doug gives raises or not, we're just gonna approve the actual line item in the budget as a payroll. You know, in the payroll line item.
Yes.
So, so however he sees fit to use that extra payroll, will be his decision.
That's because he's administering his own human resources.
Right, he hires and fires. Now, if, I mean, there's different ways we can approve it. I mean, that's what we do as a court, is approve whether or not, you know, we put that kind of increase in his line item or not, but how he sees to give it out will be his decision. Yep.
All right,
So-
make
so-
sure I'm clear.
Yep, so we're actually gonna talk about raises for our people, and then we'll approve it in the second reading.
Okay.
Yep, okay. So, if there's no more discussion, I will need a motion and a second for the first reading of ordinance 1706, which is the Madison County Fiscal Court 2017-18 budget.
Move to adopt the first reading of the 17-18 fiscal budget.
Second.
If there's no more discussion, call the roll.
Master, excuse me, Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Guys, for all of the fiscal court employees, I'm just wanting y'all to know that y'all have, there's a list, and this is just in preparation to the next court meeting. I just wanted to make note that you all have that list of the recommended, changes in pay.
On the back of your draft
Mhm.
packet, yeah.
Yep. Mhm. Yep. And that's, that'll be actually approved at the next court meeting. I just wanna make sure y'all have it. Next on the agenda is Marvin Herford, is here to discuss with us, in the Red Cross Partnership Agreement.
I also have Steve Powell here. He's the disaster program manager with the Red Cross. Basically what this program does is allow us to get free smoke detectors that we can go install into people's homes. We used to get free smoke detectors via grants, but they've dried up. So this is a way without an expenditure to us. We can go out and do that. They're gonna provide some trainings for some home safety checklists also that we'll do when we're out in the people's homes when we install these smoke detectors. They provide the batteries. It's basically soup to nuts. If they have a hearing impaired person, they'll provide a bed shaker for them. And smoke detectors, when we have fires, are one primary means we have to save lives. I'm sure we've seen the news over the past week. In Lexington, we had 4 people that passed away, and they had no working smoke detectors that could have probably prevented that tragedy. So I don't want anybody to say they can't have a smoke detector here in Madison County, and so this is a way we can do that. So we want to enter into this partner commitment with the Red Cross and be able to provide those smoke detectors for our citizens here in Madison County.
Do you have a number on that? How many?
They'll
As many as you need.
Yeah.
As many as we need.
Yeah, with the National Red Cross averages, we try to put in about 2.5 smoke alarms per home. But if there's a number of requests coming in, I actually worked that fatality in Fayette County this past weekend. And while that, they say to strike while the iron's hot, but they had 40 requests come in immediately for smoke alarms. It's fresh in everybody's mind. So we would like to, this would be our 11th Partner Direct program in my 23 counties that I cover, and We feel that Madison County's not served enough right now, and we just don't have enough volunteers in this area. This is a way that we can make sure the homes are being made safer by providing the county with the smoke alarms and letting them do the education and installation.
So the software, is it open for the cities of Richmond and Berea also, or just Madison
Absolutely.
County?
Absolutely. I've had some minor discussions on Berea. We did a home fire campaign back in the fall where we went out and did a canvassing event. I think we put in about right under 104 alarms in Berea on one Saturday. And it's an amazing program. It's something that's near to me, especially after going through some of the things I've had to go through, especially this past weekend. And we know that one smoke alarm can reduce the risk of death or injury by 50%. So,
Do they need to call you or the
they'll go
Madison County
everything through
Fire
the program.
Department?
Yeah, I'm a backup for
Okay.
for the department, but
Okay.
they can call me if I get the call and it's a resident here in Madison County. Also, just contact Madison County Fire Department.
Marvin's crew will go out and
They'll
install
take care of it.
those.
Typically, I wouldn't speak for him, but typically, the department, such as Lexington, they go out every Wednesday. You can scale that down and go out once a month, however you'd like to do it. A lot of departments use social media to get the requests, but it's been a great program. Kentucky is #2 in the nation right now with this program and installing smoke alarms. So,
At one
it's good.
time, we installed a bunch.
Yes, sir, and that, we had gotten grants, from my understanding, for the smoke detectors, and like I said, those grants have dried up, so this is another way that we can, get the smoke detectors without any, cost for them from the fiscal court, and it will just, we've already got firefighters on duty that will go out and install the smoke
An
detectors.
actual alarm's a 10-year lithium battery alarm, so it's a very efficient and well up-to-date alarm, so that you wouldn't have to go in and think about changing batteries and installing old alarms. Anything older than 10 years is what we want to replace.
So what costs are associated with this, Chief, in your opinion, to the county?
It'll be just the cost of us going out to, whatever fuel we would burn to go out to, install that smoke detector. Our firefighters will already be on duty. And we can even look at that as an opportunity for us to be out in the community, for them to be driver's training. We have to do driver's training anyway on the apparatus, so instead of just going out and driving around, we'd actually have something positive to do. So we're using that fuel anyway, so we would be doing something positive for our community instead of just, we're getting driver's training, but we can use it to do something else positive also.
Okay.
This program has installed about 13,000 smoke alarms just up this fiscal year in the state. So our fiscal year is drying up, and we're going into July 1. So if it was my opinion, I don't know, Chief, I would like to start this program with them, effective now, but then really July 1, taking off and being able to do the installations. That way we have an endless supply. Right now our supplies are a little bit low where we finished up the year so well, but we'll be able to give you the smoke alarms.
You say you have 12 counties?
I have 23.
23?
Yeah, they keep me everywhere.
So what would be do you have kind of a procedures model yet, or is that something that we'll work on? I mean, how?
That's
so-
something we work on with the Red Cross. They have a procedure.
Okay.
Correct? if I understand?
Yeah, we have a protocol that we use so that we're translucent and we're all operating around the United States the same way. But it's basically when we go into a home, we'll install at least 2.5 smoke alarms. We'll say 2.5. I'm not gonna put a half, but on average, we try to put them in living areas of the home. Anywhere, we're not gonna put them in a kitchen. We're not gonna put them in a bathroom or an unfinished basement that no one's using. But once we go in, we also give them an education program. We teach them about escape plans, and then we leave them with that. And then we also go into the school systems, which is separate from this. And we actually just did some in Madison County down in Berea. And we teach the children about smoke prevention, or smoke alarms and fire prevention, which leads into going home and saying, "Hey, Mom and Dad, we need smoke detectors." So,
I think it gives our fire department the opportunity to go to houses and maybe let the people know that, this is a danger here, this naked wire don't need to be there, whatever. Not that you're gonna force them to do anything back, but just give them a tip, this is because of fire.
And
You may
that's-
have a gas leak here because of this, or whatever,
And that's part of that with the home safety campaign.
Right.
We'll do a little home safety education with them while we're there. So it's really a win-win for everybody here, the citizens of the counties, our fire department, allowing us to do something positive for the citizens, and at relatively minor cost, which we're gonna use it, which we need fuel for the truck.
Actually, one of our partners already is Waco Volunteer Fire Department. They got on with us back, I want to say January, and they came on board. They've been real happy. Like I said, you would be the 11th partner directly.
I think Richmond, you told me City Richmond's already.
We're waiting for that transfer. I think they're getting a new chief, and we're trying to wait that out. But they've expressed interest as well. So we have your surrounding counties that have signed it.
Yeah.
You may be able, Chief, to get with Chris and maybe put something on your Facebook page so you could start taking requests in now and maybe build your neighborhoods up so you might not have to go to house by house every single day. Maybe hit one neighborhood X day, next another neighborhood, block them up.
That's a great idea. We encourage that so they can canvas. They can use their data that they have. We can use the data that we've received on where we responded from the Red Cross and get together and say these are target areas where we feel like more fires are susceptible, and we can work with you directly in that.
What do you do when you find a house that maybe has smoke detectors already and they're just not, they're broke or the battery's dead in them, or?
We wouldn't replace those. As long as they're not hardwired, we don't replace hardwired. We'd go ahead and put in our lithium battery alarms. If they're older than 10 years, they're not working. If they just need batteries, we're going to provide batteries. And we'll still be, it's a chance for us to do the education.
If they're hardwired, you just put your battery ones in, just don't worry about the hard ones, yeah. Okay. All right. Guys, what do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
All right, well, if you think it's a good idea, I need a motion and a second, to go into an agreement with the Red Cross on behalf of the Fiscal Court and the Fire Department.
Second.
No discussion, call the roll.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes,
Thank you, Chief, and thank you.
thanks, guys,
for
appreciate you being here
having me.
today.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Next, guys, at this time, I need a motion and a second to go into executive session about a personnel matter.
So move.
No discussion, call the roll.
Who got the second? I didn't. Okay. Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
So Larry made the motion, Roger seconded to come out of executive session. So if you will, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. At this time, I need a motion and a second for the termination of Roy Cox.
So move.
Second that, and I will state that is because of his use of all this FMLA leave, and Roy is a good employee for the county.
Very good.
We're gonna miss him.
Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, got that. Next is the judge's report. And starting my judge's report, Doug, were you wanting to acknowledge the court, the sheet that you gave us?
Well,
Did you want to discuss it?
Yeah,
with us?
because we were talking about the ordinance that was adopted back in 2000.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you and I have been talking about it, you gave me a copy of it there, so we've actually done some numbers, because we were talking about, you know, how to generate more money into the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And, so with that said, Katie worked this up for me, and I'll give everybody a copy. I can give this now.
I'll take copious notes.
But if you all see what you have there, and again, we were talking about, Reagan and I were talking about generating more money with this, what we adopted back in 2000. And what you see there is from January 1st, 2016, January 1st, 2017. Booking fees were $104,130.03 total, is what we should have collected. And we collected $45,490.78, and still owe $58,639.25, still owed for a 44% there.
Collection rate,
On down below that is medical. You'll see the number there, $68,466.83. We've collected $22,216. Owed is $46,250 with a 33%. Outstanding bills at the bottom, there's $299,988.44.
we've collected $19,585.46. $280,402.98 still owe with a 7% of collection. What that is when I got jail tracker, that is what they picked up for us. That's some of Ronnie's when he was here, some of what was owed to him, and some of what was owed to me back in 2011, 2012 when we got jail tracker. So that is what we've collected and what we're still owed from January of last year to January of this year of 2017. Those numbers. And again, we talked about trying to generate some money, so we worked that up there. And we go back to this ordinance here, and again, I want to just talk about the per diem, what we were talking about, doing a per diem, raising the booking fee, and things like that. So we actually, in this also, if you go to the back of it, no, probably but anyway, it talks about medical, with $5 for this call, $5 to the doctor. Well, that has all been changed since, because I didn't know that we had this either. But we're actually, for a sick call, the inmates have to pay $15 copay. I think it says $5 a year. So they're actually paying $15 now, and they've been doing it for a few years now. Emergency sick call would be $25 copay. To see the psych nurse would be a $35 copay. X-rays is $75 for that inmate. Now we bill that inmate. With that said, if the inmate, we go ahead and pay it. And if the inmate doesn't pay, we pay all this. If the inmate doesn't pay, then we bill them. We put it on their account. We're hopefully they'll pay us.
What percentage of that are you getting refunded?
of this?
Yeah, your medical.
Well, if you got medical fees there?
Yeah, it's be 33% is what they're collecting.
All right.
Yeah, of that. But again, this here says, I think it says $5 in there, but we've actually raised that back a few years ago.
Yeah.
So if whatever we do here with this, we need to change that also, and that too. But again, I wanted to talk a little bit about today with our per diem that we're thinking about possibly charging and maybe raising our booking fee. And I guess you know, if we want to discuss it now or talk about it a little bit, where do you guys think?
Yeah, it's fine with me. Of course, if we go with what that ordinance is, what it says, we could actually just have a new ordinance. I've talked to Mark about it a little bit with your recommendations, Doug, of what you think that you feel like that you would have the best success rate of collecting. We talked about it many times. Obviously, and with some of the research that I did with other counties, the higher the amount, it seemed like the less percentage they charge. So, you know, I'm open for you if you want for like next court, just coming back. We can get with Mark and work on writing up the new ordinance. And you just, in that ordinance, you can just tell us what you feel like the best per diem fee is, the best booking fee, those medical fees, if that's how you would like to handle it.
I think that, and I talked to you about when I called Clark County the other day and talked to the lady that actually does the billing for this. They do this also. And I asked her what's owed to her, and she said probably a little over $1 million what people owe her for all the jail for that. So again, I think that we all know that we're not going to get a lot of money here. We're going to recoup some of it, but we're not going to get a lot compared to these numbers here.
Yeah.
You know,
and I still go back to that perception. You know, if the perception is you don't have to pay your bills at the Madison County Detention Center, why is anybody going to pay? And it looks to me like pretty well that the perception is you don't have to pay if you're owed if we're owed $280,000.
We are.
You know, and so, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, in my opinion, you got to try new things, and if that means that you got to prosecute some, or maybe prosecute's not the right legal term, but if you've got to, you know, go after to collect your payment with some, that, you know, maybe we have to change that perception. It blows my mind. I'm not saying I'm right, but it blows my mind that somebody can just say, hey, I don't have to pay, and there's no consequence.
Yeah, I don't know the legalities of it. You know, if we can prosecute because they don't pay a booking fee, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something that the county attorney.
Doug shared with us there a little bit before the court meeting that he felt like if we raised the booking fee, we'd have a better chance of collecting up front than we would try and charge it per diem. After they're in jail, they're gonna
You know, I think.
eliminate what funding they have pretty quickly. But up front, when they go in, they're gonna have more money on them than they will a couple of days.
Well, we all know, I
after
think,
incarcerated.
that we can about guarantee these numbers are gonna go higher, what we're owed. They're gonna go higher. But I feel like that the per diem a day, if it's $5 a day, $1 a day, or $10 a day, that you're gonna get very little of that. But I feel like that, again, this is just what I feel like that, I think most of our money collected here, well, pretty much all is booking fee, but if we just say if we raise the booking fee to $50, a booking fee, and didn't do it per diem, then you would collect most of that, because people that come in are gonna have that money on them when they walk through the door, most of the time, a lot of the times. And we're gonna get that because we take their property, and that money goes into with jail tracker goes into the system, we can't, once we put it in there, so, and it automatically takes it. So if you go that route and not do it per diem, again, I think it's something that we need to discuss.
Yeah. Well, if you, I mean, with that sort of way I'm understanding that philosophy, you could, raise that booking fee, but then maybe lower that per diem fee to maybe $1. You're still going to get that 50. You're saying, and then
Better chance of getting.
Yeah. I had a discussion with I can't remember the guy's name, paid my jailer guy, and he said that their biggest success rates of collection is when that invoice that they send out on your behalf, I guess, as a jailer or whoever the jailers are they work for, is if they keep that invoice under $100, that they have a better success rate of collecting. And of course, we talked about the per diem, and of course, his suggestion was charge a $3 a day per diem, because that would be a $90 a month, which would be under $100. But I mean, at this point, I look forward to seeing what your recommendation is. We can get with Mark and work on
Well, I
the
kinda added
changes.
that up, and, 383,000 is owed to us, and we've collected 86.
And I think that
Well,
number's
that's a
gonna go
big
higher.
goose egg.
Because, again, Clark County, I talked to the lady last week, she said that probably over $1 million, Clark County. So the numbers are gonna go higher.
What about when they catch someone that's DUI? Why can't you take their vehicle off the mid-off?
There's a lot of why can't you, and I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good question.
Well,
If they drive a nice vehicle or whatever, they won't pay what they owe, sell the vehicle, put a lien against it, sell it. I don't know if that's legal or not. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's worth looking into.
What about the money that people sends to them or gives to them while they're in jail? You're not allowed to touch any of that, a percentage or something?
Yeah, if just say if they owed us $50, that person owed us $50, if money was sent to them or brought up, our system takes half of it.
Okay.
Because it will automatically take half. You put $50 on there, it's gonna take 25. That's the way it has it set up.
And so then that person, they owe $50, now they owe 25, and then they get to spend the other 25.
Which comes to our canteen, and that allows us to give monies to the county treasurers, like we have. And I'm not sure how much we.
I think 70,000 this year so far, but it's about time.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna do 70 more thousand, so we'll possibly maybe give 140,000 back to the county treasurer from our canteen, which again, Roger, that allows that, for us to do that, and buy certain things that we can purchase, for the inmate. We buy a TV, we're allowed to buy that out of canteen money. With that, instead of having to come over and ask the court for money to buy TVs with, we're allowed to do that.
I'm glad.
I'm glad we get to buy them a TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phone.
Can't use any of that canteen money for the new refrigerator, freezer over there, can you?
Well, I don't know for a fact, but I always call the auditors if I'm undecided where I can or not, and they'll tell me where I can or not.
That'd be something to look into.
And we do that quite often. Some
Because
auditors will say, well,
benefit to inmates.
I'm okay with it, but I don't know about the next auditor. Heard that sometimes too. So, anyway.
All right, great, Doug.
Thank you.
Great report, man, thanks, appreciate it.
And let Reagan judge the laws in there.
Yeah. Judge report, continue on. Again, I want to just reiterate, Madison County EMS is hosting an open house today down on Rash Road in Berea at the new ambulance station from 12 to 2. Model Laboratory School's graduation ceremonies will be conducted at 7 p.m. this coming Friday, May the 26th at EKU Center for the Performing Arts. Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed this coming Monday, May the 29th, for the Memorial Day holiday. Offices will reopen on Tuesday, May 30th at regular time. Berea Cemetery's Memorial Day service will be conducted at 2 p.m. on Sunday, May 28th at the Berea Cemetery. Richmond Cemetery's Memorial Day service will be conducted at 10 a.m. Monday, May the 29th at the Summit Street Gate there at the Richmond Cemetery. Madison County Memorial Gardens Memorial Day service will be conducted at 1 p.m. Monday, May the 29th at the cemetery there on 25 there on Berea Road. Madison County is proud to welcome the 2017 Kentucky Special Olympics Games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, June the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at EKU at Eastern Kentucky University. The blast from the past car show will be from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Saturday, June 3rd at the Russell Action Folk Center down on Jefferson Street there in Berea. Contact Berea Tourism for any details that or any questions you might have. Always remember to check us out on our website, www.madisoncountyky.us, also on our channel 46 and Facebook. Comments from department heads. Thank you, Philip. Scott?
Well, let Scott
Go ahead, Scott.
Let Scott go.
You were next. Since you're eager, I'll let you go ahead.
We're gonna try to do things a little different this year to simplify our process on getting open bids. So I guess what I need from you all today is your permission to open bids for our rock, bulk engine oil, concrete, culverts, and petroleum. We wanna do this all at one time instead of having to bring it back to you through several different courts. These bids are gonna open up June 1st. They will run through June 21st. And then we will present all of the sealed bids and our recommendations at the 27th of June's court meeting.
What about blacktop, Scott?
Blacktop is in there too.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we were, because last year we,
Everything, we included everything, all of our bid process will be at one time except for the salt. And I think
right,
y'all gonna have a
yeah.
special meeting on
Yeah,
that.
and that's just due to the CAECO's terms, that 30 day, whatever, yeah.
So you're just wanting permission to go ahead and advertise for these bids and the process?
Yep. Yeah, I think it's good.
Let's save us money advertising
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
We need a motion on this?
Yeah, you can, that's great.
I move
Yeah.
that we do this.
Second.
I think in the past, the asphalt's always come later for some reason. Last year we were like, why are we doing this? Why aren't we just doing all this at once? It
Yeah.
really didn't make sense, so it's great. Good job. So,
Thank you all.
all right, so we have a first and a second. Any more discussion? If not, call the roll.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakker?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Philip?
Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing, Bill?
Good afternoon,
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning, afternoon, whichever it's coming to be.
Close.
Just want to give a quick parks report where we are up and running. Let everybody know the parks are open from about 8 a.m. in the morning till dusk. And now we're going to do some sprucing up at the county parks this year. It's not that anything is not a safety hazard or things like that, but we need to do some painting. So if you're out at we're starting at Kirksville Park, that kind of needed it the most. And as we get people available, we'll go out there and we're painting the pavilions, cleaning up things a little bit. We had an agreement with the Daughters of the American Revolution. We planted some trees out at Kirksville Park, and we'll have a little ceremony out there sometime during the summer. Didn't cost the county any money, just other than my time on the phone and things like that. I do want to compliment our mowers this year. They're doing a real job. They've always have done a good job, but this year it seems like they're really staying on top of things. You may not be able to see this on television very well. Y'all might not fit. Can you see this here? It's a bottle cap. And we were lucky enough to be the beneficiary of a bottle cap campaign from Clem Marshall Elementary School, collected bottle caps. Now this might not mean weigh a whole lot. They collected 3,500 pounds, and most of it was bottle caps. Well, what in the world do you do with 3,500 pounds of bottle caps? You make park benches out of them.
And Glenn Marshall Elementary, Ms. Sandusky's class, I think it was 4th grade, is that right, Judge Taylor?
I think so,
Something
yeah.
like that. Got 15 of them. We're going to be recipient of 2. One of them is out at Whitehall Park. They are all in honor of Officer Ellis. They're gray and blue. They look great. The other 3 will come in sometime during June. Judge and I are talking about whether we put it out at Battlefield or have it down here. We haven't got that far yet. But that shows a lot of pride in community. These kids will, 3,500, that's a car, just about. And they need to be recognized and tip of the hat to them. If you drive around the county, you'll see the Kentucky historical markers, and a lot of them have red, white, and blue ribbons on them. Why in the world do they have that on? We got one right out front. Kentucky's birthday is June the 1st, 225 years old. And that's so when you're driving around and you see that, just remember that you live in the greatest state, and the greatest county in the greatest state across. And that's just to remind you the 225th anniversary of the county. This past weekend, out at the Battlefield, we hosted the Civil War Forum of Metropolitan New York City. And they talk loud. I guess they have to. Good people. They were tickled to death with what we've done here, and we'll see how they handle things when they go back home. So, want to also remind everybody Memorial Day is coming up. Remember, the real reason for Memorial Day is not to fire the boat up and have a barbecue and things, but this year's Memorial Day is a little something unique, and I was talking to Magistrate Bakken about this before the meeting. It is also the 100th birthday of John F. Kennedy. Now, I was 3 weeks old when John F. Kennedy lost his life, but it's hard to imagine, he's ingrained in our minds as being a young fella. He's 100 years old. That's really something. So, and also, my final thing is, we will soon be having an announcement of bullish proportions. And we'll let you all think about that. Any questions or anything about what's going on?
Thanks, Phil.
If you want to reserve a pavilion, just let us know and call early and call often.
Appreciate it.
Just let you know, Philip, the Valley View Ferry was 7 years old when the state became a state.
Mm-hmm. And Madison County was 6 years old when the state became part of it. So we have a big legacy to keep on going, and we're doing it.
Appreciate you.
And I'll be back up here in a minute.
There's no one knows nothing they wrong with you.
Roger?
Just want to comment that I've noticed mowing going on in the county, and see where Wilderness Road's getting some work done on it. Appreciate that, Willie. I know it, rain kind of washed your rock and stuff around, but it's not messed you up too bad, I don't think. I know them people in that area is going to appreciate when you get it done. Talked about it for a long time. So, but I did notice the mowing on Jacks Creek looked good. I don't know how long that'll last after the contract runs out, but we'll see what happens. But, everything looks like it's doing pretty good. It's all got good.
Thanks, Roger. John?
As Roger mentioned there, Wilderness Road getting a little work done on it, and we got some blacktopping over on Concord about a couple of weeks ago. Appreciate that, Willie. Looks good over there. I'm sure the residents are thankful for that. The Madison County Conservation District, along with our fiscal court, is kind of in a partnership to kind of promote the Union City Park down there. And of course, out at Whitehall, we've put a pollinator garden in and some flowers and some decorative stuff out there. And so we planted a tree, a redbud tree, about a month ago down in Union City. And along with the road department and conservation district, we're in the process of building a pollinator garden, which is a small area, probably 10 by 16 feet, and that's going to have some native flowers for butterflies to come in and pollinate, and bees and so forth. A lot of our honey reproduction of honey throughout the country is diminished because there's no bees and no pollinator insects anymore, and so this was kind of promote that prospect back, hopefully. And a gentleman in that neighborhood, Andy Colley, is willing to volunteer and help promote the pollinator garden and maintain it once we get it up and running. He called me just before court and said he's got it marked off and ready to go down there when our road crew can get the ties and the dirt down there. I appreciate it. I talked to Willie and Scott about that this week, and thank them. Something else I wanted to mention, Chief Herford is here, and he was on site also with me out at the Waco Volunteer Fire Department. This past week, they received a new Freightliner fire truck out there at the cost of $290,000, and $170,000 of that fund was raised through their bingo games that they do out at the Waco fundraiser out there at the fire station. And I want to commend those guys. I was out there with them, and when you get a new fire truck, it's traditional to you always back your fire truck in the bay, you know, so it'll be ready to go. But the first time in the bay, you push it in by hand. And so about 10 of us pushed that new, I don't know how many ton fire truck engine back in that bay by hand, because it's tradition after the horse and buggy days. They always brought the fire engine back and had to push it in by hand because the horses couldn't back it in. So when you get a new fire engine, you push it in the first time in the bay by hand, and we got to experience that, and that's pretty neat. And I just thank all the guys and the volunteers out there for what they do.
Yep. Thanks, John.
All good.
Back still hurting me, John.
I'm not complaining over it.
I just want to start out, Judge, by just once again talking about Memorial Day. That's Monday, and I know with cookouts and travel plans and vacation, and you get busy, and it's easy to forget the men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice, that all of us can sit in this court today and walk around in Madison County free and salute the flag. So just please remember those folks and their families. The Kingston Bridge is moving right along. Also, we have new blacktop down on Curtis Pike now. Willie got a lot of compliments about that, folks, especially the follow-up work to make drives mesh up and all that. So we appreciate everybody's help on that. About probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got a couple of calls about the I-75 bridges. If you're going south, especially on the bridge just below the Duncannon exit, I mean, you talk about rough. That rascal is rough. And so I made a couple calls to the state about that, and I followed up with them again this morning, and they told me that should be in maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks that they'll be out there to smooth those out. A couple of folks even went as far as to say they had parts on their cars fly off, and so I mean that's a good thing. And we have a lot of bridges that are like that, so we'll be taking care of those hopefully in a couple of weeks. And also, Willie, just want to say thank you to your guys. We got a lot of compliments on mowing as well, so people, they appreciate that, and they appreciate what you guys do out there. So thank you very much.
Larry?
I see Michael Bryant's here. Do you have anything, Mike? John, is that truck in gear or out of gear when y'all push it back?
Well, it's, actually, we gave the driver a hard time because he kept hitting the air brakes, you know, when we pushed him back in the thing. He gave him a little tough time.
And I can relate to what Phil was talking about the little cap. I washed the machine every time I'd run it, it'd run out in the floor. And that done that forever, and I got tired. I said, well, I bought it for P-Rats. I called them, they come over. You know what it was? It was the cap off the downing. It's when you pour it in, the cap went down there and blocked it. Cost me $175. All caps.
Bill would come fix it a little cheaper than that.
Yeah, well, all caps now, they go on high. So if you need some more, I'll bring you some. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here, and we got a 12 o'clock meeting.
Yep. EMS. Thanks. Kenny, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Sure. No, you good? No?
Nothing important here.
All right. Comments from the audience.
Phil's coming
I've got
back.
my audience hat on now.
Okay.
Just a little report from the Flag for Veterans Groups of Madison County. Madison County is home to over 300 cemeteries, and in 2015 our group started visiting these little rural cemeteries to make sure that our veterans are remembered with flag on Memorial Day. And our first year we put out about 300 flags in 20 cemeteries. So far in 2017 we have visited 90 rural Madison County cemeteries, have been visited, and over 875 American flags have been placed on these on marked graves of United States veterans. If they don't have a VA marker, there's really no way we can know for sure. Flags have been placed on the veterans' graves on every armed conflict that this country has seen since the American Revolution. And this project is done entirely with private donations and volunteer time out in the county.
That's great.
So it goes back to having pride in our community
Yep.
again. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Phil.
Next, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
No discussion, call the roll.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next court date will be next Tuesday, which is June 30th, 9:30 a.m. That'll be a special meeting, special call meeting. And then the next regular scheduled meeting will be June the 9th, 2017. That'll be here in Richmond. Again, that's Tuesday, June 9th at 9:30 here in Richmond. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Judge